Alright, this is part 2 for 8th grade of lesson 21, and part 2 talks about order of operations. One thing that we've seen before, but we're going to hit quite a bit harder this year in 8th grade. So, first of all, let's look at what we want to accomplish by the end of this lesson. So, we're going to look at a mnemonic device to help us remember the order of those operations. A mnemonic device is just something that helps us remember something else. So, big word, doesn't mean too much other than helping us remember something. And the big thing that we want to do is use that device to accurately calculate values using our order of operations. So, first thing we want to do is learn what the order of operations are, and then we're basically going to apply them. So, here they are. And this comes into play when we have a big long expression with more than one thing to do. So maybe a bunch of adding, a bunch of multiplying, dividing, subtracting, maybe square roots, taking and squaring something or cubing something like that. We want to follow a certain order so that we don't screw up the calculation. And our first thing that we want to look at is we want to simplify anything within the parentheses. So anything inside parentheses you want to get done first. That's your main priority. And if there are no parentheses, or you've already done everything inside the parentheses, we're going to simplify exponents after that. And from there, multiplying and dividing, they are on the same level. We can do that from left to right once we get to that point. And finally, adding and subtracting from left to right. And also, it's good to know, let's see, here's our mnemonic device right here. If we take the first letter in each main thing that we're talking about, here parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So if we take those first letters, we can see we get these right here. And the students have seen this before. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's one thing that we can use to help memorize the order of operations. So we'll be using that a lot this year, and I'll keep reminding us that that's what we use it for. And this whole thing actually still applies within parentheses. So we might have this big long thing inside parentheses. We're still going to follow these rules right here. We're going to follow this order, okay? So let's actually see how this works. Alright, so I have our order of operations listed here, and we're going to simplify this expression. Big long expression, and we're going to hit everything. We have exponents, we have parentheses, addition, division, multiplying, so we're going to hit everything here. So first thing we want to do is simplify anything with inside parentheses, and we do have a set of parentheses right here. So I'm going to rewrite everything except for, we're going to change what we get for an answer inside here. So 20 minus 2 times 3 to the second plus 7 plus 8 we know is 15 divided by 5. Need a better marker here. Try this one. Alright. So, we simplified what was inside the parentheses, turn that into 15, and now we have no more parentheses left, so we can go down to the next level here, which is simplify an exponent expression. And we do have one exponent here. So once again, I'm going to rewrite everything. And you'll find out that if you're organized like this and move down and do things vertically, it makes things a lot easier than just trying to figure out in your head or typing it all into a calculator. If we try to type this whole thing into a calculator, it probably wouldn't like it. A lot of times students will do that. They'll type everything in, they'll get some weird decimal answer, and then they'll ask me why. Well, we want to try to do it this way because calculators can make mistakes depending on how we type things in. So we're going to rewrite everything, and we're going to get our exponent out of there. So 20 minus 2 times 3 to the second power is 9. 3 times 3 plus 15 divided by 5. Alright, So now we have no more exponents left. We can move on to our third level, which is multiply and divide in order from left to right. So we're going to start on the left here. 20 minus 2 times 9, that is 80, plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. Alright, so we got rid of all the multiplying and dividing, so we move on to our fourth and final level here. Add and subtract in order from left to right. Well, 20 minus 18, that's 2. So we'll get 2 here. And 2 plus 3 gives us 5. So we should get 5 for an answer for that long expression. Now if we would have tried to type that all into a calculator, we may have gotten some sort of decimal or a weird answer. And all we really would have got, or should have gotten, is a whole number of 5. So that's a very good example. It hit everything that we were talking about with those order of operations. Alright, you're also going to see in these problems brackets and braces. I have those highlighted right there. This is what they look like. If I draw them out a little bigger, brackets like this, braces. Braces are kind of hard to draw, but if you practice them enough, they're not too bad. But these are basically grouping symbols. We use them just like we use parentheses. And we use them when we have multiple parentheses, basically. So it would be kind of like this. Let's see. Alright, well, this is the example I wanted us to look at. But this right here says, to simplify expressions with multiple grouping symbols, we're going to begin with the innermost symbol. So when we have something like this, we're going to begin with the innermost one. So I'm going to rewrite things here. 10 minus 8 minus, we have a bracket, 6 minus. Now, we're going to do 5 minus 3, that's the innermost one, and that's 2. Oh, and we close that. So now we have 6 minus 2 is our next innermost. So rewrite 10 minus 8 minus 6 minus 2, which is 4. And now we have just our braces, which are basically like parentheses. So we have 8 minus 4. So we have 8 minus 4 is 4. And then 10 minus 4 gives us 6. Alright, so once again, keeping everything organized, moving in a vertical motion, makes things pretty easy. Takes a little more work, but really it doesn't take too long, as you can see. Alright, check that time. Alright, we're doing fine. Okay, and also, just for some review here, absolute value symbols, division bars, and radicals. Now radicals, those are basically your square roots, your cube roots, anything that's a root, taking a root of something. They are called radicals. Those sometimes group multiple terms as well, and we'll show you some examples of these.
Samantha Fernandez, please call the office. Samantha Fernandez.
Alright, so if we look at A here, we have the absolute value of 2 minus 7. Well, they're basically just like parentheses. We want to do whatever's inside here first before we do anything else. Now there is nothing else to do after this, so we're just going to do what's on the inside. 2 minus 7 equals negative 5. And we have to remember, as a review, absolute values mean basically your distance from 0 on the number line. So anything in here comes out positive, always comes out positive. So absolute value of negative 5 is 5. Because negative 5 is 5 units away from 0 on the number line. So that's where we get that from. Letter B, we want to add these two before we take our square root, or radical, right? Also called radical. So 9 plus 16 is 25. And then we get the square root of 25, which basically says, okay, what to the second power gives us 25? Well, we know that this is 5. It's 5 times 5 is 25, and we get 5 right there. Alright? And our last one, we have a division bar. But first we want to multiply on top. So 12 times 12 is 144. 3 plus 3 is 6. And then we're going to do 144 divided by 6. So 6 goes into 14 twice. 12. Drop our 4 down. 6 goes into 24. 4 times. Correct. So we would get 24 for our answer on that one. So some other ways to group things together, basically is what they're showing us there. And finally, alright, we want to consider this expression here. This is just another example. We are going to look at A. So as this expression is written, what would it be equal to? So we have 3 plus 3 times 3 minus 3 divided by 3. Looks like an interesting problem. So remember, we want to do multiplying and dividing before we do any adding or subtracting. So this is going to be 3 plus 3 times 3 is 9 minus 3 divided by 3 is 1. And now we will add and subtract as we go. So 12 minus 1, we should get 11. Alright. Now it says to copy the expression once again. So I'll recopy it over here for B. And it says place one pair of parentheses so that the expression equals 3. Alright. So we have 3 plus 3 times 3 minus 3 divided by 3. Now we want to place the parentheses somewhere so that we will get 3 for our overall answer. So if we place them here, that tells us we're going to do this first. So 3 plus 3 times 3 minus 3 is 0 divided by 3. So then we've got 3 plus 3 times 0, which is 0 divided by 3. And 0 divided by 3 is 0. And 3 plus 0 is 3. So that's how we would go about doing that one. Alright, so we're going to do a bunch of order of operation examples in class. And we'll also probably review Pythagorean theorem and also the distributive property.